Inravio.com.
Hello again, everybody. This is Joe Larson and Chuck Schultz, and you're watching the 5-Off 5-On Racing Show. Welcome, everybody. Sorry for the delay, but here we are. We're ready to talk some racing, and there's not too much going on. But before I move on, I just wanted to congratulate an entity that if it wasn't for those people, there would be no 5-Off 5-On Racing Show. And that's the Village Music Shop, one of our biggest supporters of our show, and like I said, there'd be no Inravio.com if it wasn't for Village Music.
That is true.
I congratulate you and your staff. And
50th anniversary, right?
50th anniversary.
It's a long time.
You don't even look that old.
I'm not. No. No, the store was purchased back in 1982, but it was organized in 1969. Okay. I started working there in 1970 as a 7-year-old kid.
Wow. So that makes you 57.
No. 55.
55.
Yeah.
So
I feel like 57.
You know, it's if you would ever need anything in the music line, guitars, drums, and everything in between, saxophones, string instruments, lessons.
Tubas.
Tubas. I mean, from a piccolo to a tuba. They have it here, and if you don't know how to play it, they'll teach you how to play it.
That's right. We'll teach you how to play it. And we can fix them if you break them, too.
Oh, yeah.
So
good thing I don't have an instrument, because I'd be breaking it.
Yeah.
I broke my race cars. I broke a lot of stuff.
That's it.
Microphones at Orange County.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're right. Microphone at Orange County. Twice.
Twice. Oh, anyway.
Also, a thank you to a new sponsor. We have the Merchants Bay Diner, Spiro, over at the Merchants Bay Diner.
Yep.
Great food, by the way. If you ever headed to the track and you pull off, you know, go to the Merchants Bay Diner on Montauk Highway in Mauritius. Great food. Take the team there. It's a good thing.
Yeah. Before or after the races, even.
Before or after the race, absolutely. They're open late. So yeah, tell Spiro, you know, you heard it here.
Absolutely.
Good guy.
Anyway, racing. The Rolex 24 Hours at Daytona was held this weekend, and battling the rain early Sunday morning and continuing throughout the day with downpours, one causing a red flag, which didn't allow for safety, they had to stop racing. But the number 10 of Jordan Taylor, Renger van der Kamu, Kobayashi, and Fernando Alonso took the victory. And it was actually 23 and a half hours, because with 2 hours and 7 minutes to go, Felipe Nasr spun in turn 1, and 10 minutes later, the race was red flagged for the second time and not continued. Battling the rain early Sunday morning. So that was 23 hours and like 30 minutes to race instead of 24.
So they did it fast.
They did it
So
fast.
they're going to have to start calling it the 22 hours of Daytona.
But you know, for those who know, that race starts and the clock starts ticking, and 24 hours later, that next lap is a checkered flag. And
so ultimately, it's what it is it's an endurance race, really, isn't that what it's supposed to be?
On a road course.
Yeah, so the idea is basically it's just endurance. So let's put our cars out there and see if we can run them, you know, right to the floor and see what we can do, right?
Yep.
I mean, ultimately.
And years ago, that race was set up to see which manufacturer had the best
the best stuff, yeah. So it's like the first enduro race.
Yeah, so
with expensive cars.
Very expensive cars, but you know, to win that event, that's big. That's a lot of drivers want to put that on their resume that they won the Rolex, and even NASCAR drivers compete in it. Indy guys, Formula One guys.
Something to put on the resume.
Exactly.
Yeah, absolutely.
Exactly. So congratulations to the number 10 team for that victory. So that was good for them. This weekend, they also had the indoor races in Atlantic City, and called the Gamblers Classic, which was always been a good crowd and good race, and I've been going to that race, that event, on and off since 1978. I missed this year's, obviously. You see, I got some color because I was away, so but we're back. But Andy,
I saw that. I mean, I saw some video of that. Very scary race.
Oh,
I mean, just, I don't know. I'd rather hit the concrete wall. I got to tell you, just.
I did.
Well, we all did, but you know. I almost had the flag guy once.
Yeah, you did.
I was pretty high.
Yeah.
Yeah, they should have got a picture of me in the air. That would have been a good one.
Man, somebody has that.
I don't know. I asked.
Captain Video.
Captain Phil. That's true. He might have had it. Actually, it was on his side, but yeah, I should check with Captain Video.
Yeah, because he has every.
I got some air on that
event.
One.
I asked him for a copy of a race from 1989, and he had it.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't even know what year that was. I'd have to find out.
Yeah.
But I know the flag stand was. He was a little concerned. He jumped off the flag man.
Oh man. Well, speaking of hitting the wall, Mike Teiderbach, we talked about him last year. Almost got killed going into the wall. He slid on the side of his car, and your body stretches, and his head stretched above the top of the roll cage and hit the wall. It took quite some time to get him out of the race car. He was actually out, and the head trauma, they were worried. And then what happened was, he went to the local hospital, which he was there for months, in and out of a coma, then was transferred home months later, so at least his kid could see him, his son. And, Mike Teiderbach, that horrific crash, and the winner of the 2008 Gamblers Classic, well, he's been a year of recovery, and he's finally walking with a cane. He made an appearance at the racetrack and walking onto the track with the help of a cane and his wife and son. The crowd stood, cheered, and I'm sure there wasn't a dry eye in the house.
I'm sure it was not.
When the wreck happened, my first thought in my head, seeing the thousands of races that I've seen in 42 years, was he's no longer with us. And it took so long
to get him out.
And in my opinion, they were moving slow. I don't know if because I was seeing it in slow motion, which sometimes happens, or they were just so concerned with the condition of the top of his body and his head wedged between the roll cage and the wall. Those are the thoughts. And they didn't say another thing about Mike Teiderbach until like a day later, when he was, alive and kicking, so to speak.
Yeah. Now, is there you would think, because, when you think at your race car, you got the roll cage and you got the hood and you got the Hans device. It's basically holding your shoulders down and the helmet. But you really don't have anything on top of that helmet, like even
nothing.
Padding between you and the roof.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? Something. Like a pad that should be up there.
Right. Without a doubt.
Some kind of a, even a better way to say it, crush zone.
Right, but something that's going to...
Before the helmet makes contact.
Right. Without a doubt.
I mean, we've seen that in Indy cars, they don't have any roof. But I mean, we've seen that with, guys' heads scraping on the racetrack and so forth, or against the wall when they flip. And so, even though they have that little tiny roll bar there that, is more for looks, I think, or to lift the car up when they do crash. I mean, really, what are they doing with that thing?
Oh, yeah. And when you think about, especially in TQs, it's a three-quarter midget. That's what a TQ stands for, 3/4. When you look at those things, you're in there pretty tight, and you're a big guy like you and me, we're not getting in a TQ, I don't think, comfortable.
We get in, we ain't getting out.
Exactly.
Yeah, I know there was an Indy car. The guy's like, try that car. I was like, I went to get in there, and I'm like, dude, if I get in here, you're cutting me out, so I'm not going to. No, you got to twist, and I'm not twisting to get in there.
Yeah, it'll be a twist and shout.
It would be a twist and shout.
Oh, without a doubt. But in Atlantic City, Andy Jankowiak, he was the winner of the Napa Know-How in the TQs at the Atlantic City races. Doug Searley won the Champ Kart main, and Danny Bukafuska took the Slingshot main. And this is two 2 days of racing, qualifying, B mains, C mains, and last chance, mains to get into that feature event. And, the way the finishes went in the TQs, as we said, Jane Kawiak won. Tim Buckwater was second. Ryan Flores third. Justin Bonsignor was fourth. Eric Rudolph was fifth. Eddie Strada was sixth. Anthony Cecily, a modified driver, was seventh. Matt Janish was eighth. Briggs Dana ninth, and Billy Wees was 10th. In the champ carts, Doug Sterling was first there, and Cole Niebuhr was second. Todd Crenshaw was third. Muse Perry fourth. Ryan Kendall was fifth. Danny Bonafusca was the winner in the slingshots. Craig Whitmore was second in there. Tyler Truex, brother of Martin Truex Jr., was in the slingshots, finishing third. Danny Spellmore fourth, and Nick Shaw rounding out the top 5 there. Like I said, I've been going to those races forever, and I missed this year. And when you go and you watch these guys, and Ted Christopher, the late Ted Christopher, he was king in that place. He was king in that place, and he wasn't afraid to go too wide. He wasn't afraid to take it in deep, and he put on a show. And a lot of times he was black flag, put to the rear for aggressive driving, but he put on a show. Then he'd come from the back again and work his way, and when you see that, that's a race that you can't describe. And seeing a video on the computer,
it's not the same.
No justice.
Yeah. Well, that's all I could see at the time.
Yeah. and
had my hands full, but I understand. But Kathleen's saying here the first time she saw the TQ midgets, it was an accident, and Jess Snyder broke his neck.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, and she said that David Steele was killed.
Right.
Right as well. I mean, so I guess that's why they call it the Gamblers. Or is it because it's Atlantic City?
It's Atlantic City, yeah.
No. Because it's kind of scary.
It is.
I always had the same thought too with the monster trucks. Those suckers, they let go and they go into the stands.
Oh, yeah.
It's all over but the tears.
And they used to have the monster. Now they have the Barclays Center. Just this past weekend. They've been at the Nassau Coliseum forever and ever.
Yeah.
Madison Square Garden, anywhere.
And knock on wood, it's been very safe. I mean,
yeah.
It's been good, but. You never know. I mean, you got to be careful. And the track, what I was watching in Atlantic City, it was a pretty tight track.
It is. And what they do with it prior to, well, it's after they put the jersey barriers around and take the seats out, because it's in the Broadwalk Hall in Atlantic City.
Yeah.
And indoors, obviously. They spray Coke syrup on the concrete.
To make it tacky, yeah.
Yeah. Because you go out there, when they have the pit party, you go out there. If your sneakers or shoes aren't on tight,
they're coming off.
They're coming off, and your sock is in the Coke syrup with your next step. And you hear that, when you walk in. And don't say, how did that go again? But that's what you hear. Yeah. Anyway, we're gonna take a break. When we come back, we're gonna talk about some of the NASCAR stuff that's going on and some upcoming events in NASCAR when we come back.
Hey, what's up? Oh, I was going to say what's up for some reason. Hey, we're Set It Up, and you're watching the Inravio TV network.
Music Shop of Mastic. 1-800-HEY-DUDE, your full-service store with personalized attention, school band instrument rentals and sales, music instruction on all instruments for all styles and age groups, for guitars, drums, amplifiers, PA systems, and accessories. It's Village Music Shop, 1495 Montauk Highway in Mastic. Call 1-800-HEY-DUDE or go to villagemusicshop.com.
Hi there, this is Buddy from Less Than Jake, and you are listening to Inravio TV. You're probably watching it too.
The world of advertising has changed. Radio, TV, and newspaper revenues have declined drastically. Why? Because businesses have realized that advertising return on investment isn't what it used to be. So what can we do about it? Well, that's easy. Advertise online. Own a local restaurant, real estate agency, or even a national retail chain? Whatever your business, Inravio can get your message out there, and we can do it at a fraction of the cost. Call today and see the difference for yourself. This isn't TV. This isn't radio. This is Inravio.com.
Hey, welcome back. We're back. Breaks come pretty quick.
Yes, they do.
They really do. So what's going on in NASCAR coming up? Well, the Daytona 500 is coming up. And it's going to be here before we know it.
Yeah, we've got a couple of weeks. It's coming up, and that's when, everything changes.
Yeah, everything changes.
Everybody starts realizing, oh my goodness, racing's going to happen.
Racing's starting. We got to get ready. And, the Daytona 500, it's like the Super Bowl of NASCAR, and it's the first event of the year. It starts with the shootout, and then on February 9th, you have the clash and the final practice for the Daytona 500. And I never knew like a series like NASCAR, they have so much practice and more practice and more practice and more practice.
It's a lot of testing. It's testing and practice, testing and practice.
Yeah. Then Thursday night, the 14th, Valentine's Day. I spent many a Valentine's Day down in Daytona. It was like that holiday didn't exist in my schedule.
Not popular.
No. Well, that night is the first duel to determine the inside row, and the second duel will just determine the outside row for the race. But on the Sunday before, on the 10th, it's Daytona 500 qualifying, where they only lock in the first two. I never understood that.
Yeah, I never really understood that myself, because it seems like there's so many, you do this race and you're going to be in, you do that one, you're going to be in, and you do this. I think it's basically the other races are just to sell more tickets now.
Oh, yeah.
And basically the you're going to get in thing is just so that people race, or else they'd be just driving along.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
And years ago, the race used to count. They used to call them the bud shoot.
The
what they call them, the qualifiers.
The duels.
And the
yeah, when looking
counted.
for it, I put duel and didn't even come up on the TiVo, because they don't call it that anymore.
No.
Now they just call it,
It's like they got points years ago, so the races mattered. So yeah, the front row was determined, and first and second, everybody else was racing for position. But drives me, what I don't understand.
They also had incentives, because it was a Budweiser shootout thing.
Exactly. And what I didn't understand about these races is when you watch them and they're talking about who's in, who's out. I go, well, so he can make it on time, but if he finishes 3 spots ahead, he doesn't have to take his time. He could. Why do they make it so confusing?
So you pick and choose. If you don't make it on time, you can make it this way, but if you don't make it that way, you can make it this way.
Yeah.
So it gives you some opportunities to get into the race.
But then the charter teams are automatically in.
Well, see, that's it. By the time you're all done and said, you're racing for what, like 3 spots?
Yeah.
I mean, ultimately, isn't that the way it works out?
Pretty much.
Because you got your past champions provisionals,
right.
You got your the charters, and really, how many cars did they wind up getting down there?
You know, it used to be a lot.
What's the full field?
Full field is 40 cars.
No, I understand it. But how many people come for those 40 spots? It's a 40 or 43?
40 now.
It's 40 now.
Yeah,
under the new, they don't want to spread it out too thin.
No.
They have 43. Why don't they just put 112 cars on there and make it in the door?
Which, Bill France, big Bill France, you showed up, you were in the race.
You were in the race.
You were in.
That's what I'm thinking.
That.
I'll go down there on my station wagon and get in the race. Take the green flag. I make, what, 150,000? I park the thing.
Yeah.
I could put slicks on that car. What do you think?
Good. You're good. I don't know if you'd pass the templates.
I'd be too high.
Yeah.
Would they black flag me because I'm too high?
You would be stuck in tech and misqualifying.
How did Herbie the Love Bug get in there? I mean, come on.
It's a move.
Oh, it's a move.
It's a move. You know, come on. You know, it's all, you know.
Well, you know Herbie was going to win anyway. Come on.
Of course.
Part of the course.
It's like, you know, Batman when the Joker and the Penguin going after him. How those guys came back and back, like they should have been charged with attempted murder. You knew he was going to escape.
Right, of course.
Anyway, that'd be a good show. Talk about them old movies. But anyway, then we got Friday. February 15th. The Xfinity cars will be practicing, and the trucks will be qualifying for their race later on that night, 7:30 for the trucks. And then Saturday, there's more qualifying, and the Xfinity Daytona 300. I guess they didn't get a title sponsor for that event, when they're going to call it the Daytona 300. Maybe the city of Daytona is kicking in. I doubt it.
I wonder.
I doubt it.
Probably not.
Now we have
Tourism Bureau?
Hmm?
The Tourism Bureau, you think, is kicking in?
Yeah.
$500,000?
Oh, I'm thinking, yeah, they'd have to. Then, of course, Sunday, the Daytona 500 will be 2:30 in the afternoon. And that's always a good event to watch. Good event. And what's going on there? Joe Gibbs Racing, their cars will honor J.D. Gibbs with a sticker. It's their former president who passed away on January 11th, so each of their cars. And that's still a sad thing.
It's a sad note, yeah.
A neurological disease that just, who heard of it? You know, who heard of that? And our own Tommy Bolden from here up on Long Island, Tommy Bolden Racing, has signed Mike Christopher Jr. If that name is familiar to you, it should. He is the son of TC, Ted Christopher, his brother, Mike Christopher Sr. So he's going to be signed for the open modified 80 at the Stafford Motor Speedway in Connecticut.
Yeah.
I've seen him run.
Has he been running for a while?
He's run some SKs, but he has Uncle TC's attitude.
Oh, yeah?
And that's not a bad thing.
He's got the fervor?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. And I'm sure he uses that 3-tap rule, too.
It's great to be a kid, isn't it?
Oh, man. I didn't get to be a kid. I didn't get to do this stuff till I was older. But good for Tom Bolden. On Tom Bolden also, he has signed Ryan Truex is going to drive the car 71 in the Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Daytona 500. So it's good to see Tommy Bolden Jr. back in the action.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't see him running a full season with that car or with that driver, but he's concentrating on the modifieds for some reason. And I understand that. He has a nice shop down there. He's sharing it with some people. So,
he's got a lot of chops with the modified, so.
Oh, yeah. Oh, without a doubt.
Yeah.
So that's always a good thing. And then, ready for this? Check this one out. Breaking news. Breaking news. NASCAR has a new rule starting today. Today.
You must drink Coca-Cola.
Yeah. Well, that was already right. I got in trouble for that.
Pepsi, no Coke.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I had a Diet Pepsi. Mike Helton took me in the hallway. You know, we're a Coca-Cola organization. You might be on TV. How do we explain that to Coca-Cola?
Where did you get that from?
No, right. I'm in the tower.
All I'm asking.
I'm in the tower. I'm officiating the nationwide
reached into the cooler.
I turn around. I go right outside the tower door because there was a commercial. I go, put my dollar in. Diet Pepsi comes out. Go in. And I get somebody in my ear. Okay, we're live in 20 seconds. Mike Helton sitting right where you're sitting. You know, we're a Coca-Cola organization. And we're back. I'm doing my thing. I'm watching. and, you know, trying to get things going on. And he goes, put it in a cup, nonchalantly. Oh, okay. And I go like this, and I reach over, and I go, all right, put it in a cup, let the empty bottle fall. And he gets up, doing another commercial break, you know, because we have to create yellows to have cautions to get the commercials.
Sure.
Anybody need anything? I said, I can get a Diet Coke if you could. And he just made like a look, and like the other heads of NASCAR said, do you know who he is? I said, that's Mike. And they're like this, they're shaking their head.
He asked if I wanted anything. Was I going to say no?
He came back with 2 Diet Cokes for me.
That's right.
And now they're really
This is
shaking.
one feed a drink, this is the other one is really,
For sure, yeah.
Right.
Oh, yeah. You know, the official soft drink of Coke. The official. So anyway, this new rule is intended for anyone who holds a NASCAR license. In part, it states, members shall not engage nor attempt to engage in any legal or illegal gambling activity in which NASCAR is involved, including but not limited to the Monster Energy Cup Series, the Xfinity Series, and the Gainer Outdoor Truck Series. It's no longer Camping World, it's Gainer. Kind of confused me when I saw that. It also prohibits the same conduct that in the judgment of NASCAR could represent the potential of a conflict of interest, which is Rule 12-4A, which I got in trouble for a lot when I was involved. Unsportsman type conduct or any action or actions detrimental to stock car, auto racing, or NASCAR. This policy applies to all gambling activities in any gambling facility, casino, lottery, racetrack, gaming facilities, on the internet or electronically, or in other establishments and locations.
So in other words, if you come to my 500 party, we cannot gamble on who's going to win, who's going to be first in lap 10.
Exactly. I'd have to do it on behalf of an entity.
An entity.
Yeah. Because if I do it as me, I'll be suspended.
Joey Schlabotnik, LTD.
Now, you've been around racing a long time. When NASCAR changes a rule, it's because they caught somebody.
Something happened, yeah.
So somebody
was in the gray area.
Oh yeah, they're in the gray, or they're running numbers in the street in Brooklyn, or you know, who knows?
Well, not for nothing, but I mean, come on, you can go to Atlantic City or Vegas and you can gamble on this stuff.
Yeah.
Well, they're saying you can't do that. So does that mean that anybody who's got, you know, I mean, Brendan Gaughan had every casino under the sun on the side of his truck because he was from Vegas, right? So I mean, does that mean all his sponsors are like they're turning their nose up at him?
Yeah, because you know, there's a rule too that sponsors have to be approved by NASCAR. They're on your car.
Right. So if they gamble and
there was a guy at a K&N. He was sponsored by Mohegan Sun.
sure.
I'm like, I mean, he doesn't race anymore in a K&N, but Mohegan Sun was throwing him a lot of money. So they caught somebody big. This wasn't a little, you know, he's rolling dice.
We don't know who they caught.
In the garage area. No, you know. Oh, they're saying, hi, Chuck, now. Look at that.
Hi, Chuck. Hello.
Oh, yes.
That's better than, hey, who's that fat guy?
Who's that guy? Oh, I love this. I really do. But, yes. And I wonder who got caught. It had to be, I'm telling you, it had to be big. It had to be big.
Think they were doing it in the garage area? Think they toss a couple bucks on the table? They gotta be. Come on.
Or like,
Who doesn't do that?
Did you ever see that movie Grease Lightning? It's about Wendell
Sure.
Scott.
Yeah.
You know, and they're moonshining and all that kind of good stuff. You know, and they didn't let him win even though he did. And, you know, I think something like that happened. He got caught. You know, like he got caught in the.
So that's true. That's illegal activity.
Yeah.
So it's not necessarily gambling. You just, in other words, what we're saying here is that
Anything. Yeah.
anything.
Yeah. Yeah.
So in other words, Jimmy Johnson's got to pull that special flapper out of the back on the trunk of his car and take the moonshine out.
Exactly.
Because he can't be. Could you imagine the 48 zipping around the countryside moonshining?
Oh no.
No, right?
No.
Doesn't seem like it's something he would do.
I think somebody had a question for us. I think I missed it.
Did you?
Yeah. NASCAR fantasy leagues. You are
Really?
technically, if you're holding a NASCAR license,
And you can't do that.
you can't do that. Maybe your wife can or your girlfriend.
But if you're not holding a NASCAR license,
then you can.
You can.
You can. And you can do it for somebody else. See, there's loopholes around all of this stuff.
Right. Well,
There's loopholes.
because if you don't have a NASCAR license, they can't legally come
They
after
can't
you.
do it, right.
If you're perfectly in the right, you're illegal.
Yeah.
I mean, they do put the legal and illegal thing in there.
Exactly.
They cover all their bases.
Does that mean you can't go to your church bingo?
Well, if they're betting on NASCAR.
It just said betting, period.
It didn't say betting on NASCAR.
No.
It just said betting. Oh,
Betting.
then that's it. Bingo.
You can't go to
They
bingo.
They slap the cuffs on you. You're at it.
Oh, my God. Oh, yeah. My buddy
They drag
Randy.
you out. You got the cuffs on with that big marker that you
Yep.
use to hit the things with. They're dragging you out. You got
As
your,
evidence.
Got your coat over your head.
My buddy Randy down in Florida, down in Port Arthur, he's I wish he could get up to here to do the show, with us, because he saw as much as I saw. We worked together in the series, in the K&M Pro Series East, and he was the type of guy, very soft-spoken, but if you listen carefully, he's pounding somebody. He's giving it to them. He's one of those, not vivacious, not loud. Just, you'd be sitting there in a meeting and you'd whisper in your ear and then you're laughing and they're looking at you like, what are you laughing at? He's a good guy, Randy. I'm glad you tuned in. Yes, and people are saying, oh, our buddy Steve is watching too. But when you look at stuff like this, what are they trying to do? Chase away more drivers and teams and fans?
Well, you said it. They had a problem, and they're trying to correct it. I think, I don't know how much they're going to enforce small little things, but
Right.
I guess big things could be
Yeah,
it.
but if you're the guy that's breaking their shoes, they're going to break your
They're
shoes.
going to break your shoes. Yeah, they want to leave themselves out,
Oh, yeah. Well, anyway, we got to take a break. When we come back, we'll get some more stuff to talk about. And
We're going to talk about sponsors
Yeah.
and what you should charge for the parts of your car.
yeah,
And what you should do to get better sponsors and better paying sponsors, whether you're a race team, a racetrack, any kind of race entity. What do you do? What should you be doing? Really?
exactly. Yeah,
I mean, because, race car drivers are race car drivers, right? They're not media consultants.
that's right.
They're not advertising executives.
Most
They're not-
especially local, they're just working guys and
That's
gals
it.
looking to go out on a Saturday.
Sometimes they're not even business people. Sometimes they are.
Yeah.
But really, what should you be doing? Because ultimately, if you can't get tires on the car, can you go racing?
It's hard.
If you can't afford the motor, can you go racing?
No.
If you're scraping up money and, all right, we're not paying the mortgage until after the first.
Yeah.
What are you doing there? So when we come back.
We come back.
Hi, I'm Remington.
I'm Emerson.
And I'm Sebastian.
We're Palais Royale, and you're watching Inravio TV.
There we go.
The world of advertising has changed. Radio, TV, and newspaper revenues have declined drastically. Why? Because businesses have realized that advertising return on investment isn't what it used to be. So what can we do about it? Well, that's easy. Advertise online. Own a local restaurant, real estate agency, or even a national retail chain? Whatever your business, Inravio can get your message out there, and we can do it at a fraction of the cost. Call today and see the difference for yourself. This isn't TV. This isn't radio. This is Inravio.com.
Hey, this is Chris Les Jake, and if Inravio.com spots you at an event wearing this bracelet, they will give you $100.
Music Shop of Mastic. 1-800-HEY-DUDE, your full-service store with personalized attention, school band instrument rentals and sales, music instruction on all instruments for all styles and age groups, for guitars, drums, amplifiers, PA systems, and accessories. It's Village Music Shop, 1495 Montauk Highway in Mastic. Call 1-800-HEY-DUDE or go to villagemusicshop.com.
Hi, this is Mike Jarecki from My Race News, and you're watching the Inravio TV network.
Hey, we're back.
Yes, we are.
You've heard of that website, JSki? They have that JC Silly season in the off season.
Yes, yes.
Well, I think it's after 33 years. Boom, done, finished.
Really?
Yeah.
I wonder what happened, what transpired there.
I'm sure one of our fans will be able to tell us, but it's wow.
That's a long time.
Yeah.
And then to pack it in.
And I'd go into their website often and, look stuff up and check it all out. And, what's happening is that there's so much on the internet now. There's so much social media with racing that maybe they just get tired of the nonsense. I'm not really sure. I didn't read into it as to, what happened or why it happened. But, when I saw that, I thought it was like that normal, let's stir the pot a little bit. But you get things from reliable sources here, and it's a done deal.
Wow, that's a shame,
Yeah.
It's you would think that you put that kind of time and effort into something that you would be able to at least pull something out of it. You know what I mean? And keep it going or pass it along. I mean, like Mike Jarecki with MyRaceNews.com. And that's the kind of thing. So. One of the things we need to do, and this is what race car drivers need to do and racetracks need to do, everybody's got to help each other out.
Yeah.
And, I'm not going to say I'm the best in the world, but I'm going to tell you that the last several years that I raced, I got paid to race. Not only did I get my expenses paid, and I had I had a 6,000 square foot race shop. I mean, it was the envy of most people in the, at the track, and even Dennis from Oval Speed came, and he's like, "This thing's a dream." And it's like I had every tool you could imagine there, and everything you could possibly
I was in
have.
there, and you said to me, first of all, you said, "Don't bring your tools in." I'm like, "How am I going to work on my car?" I'm thinking in my head, "How am I going to work on my car if I can't bring my tools?" You said, "Use mine. This way, we're not confused of who's tool and who's who." And then you said, "I have every tool that you can imagine. And if I don't have it, it hasn't been invented yet." I remember that distinctly.
Right. And I invented some tools. I mean, I had stuff that I invented.
You did.
So we had pretty much. It was great. It was awesome. I wish I had it back. But
I have a picture of my car, your car, the chassis jig, and I think it's a brown van. I took from the loft. The place had a loft.
Place had a loft with a game room.
With a game room. I used to bring my girls. Like when they put them in, my son, I'd have him, and they play the games, and you didn't even charge him a quarter. It was like, you just flipped the switch.
And we're not talking about like, games with these little controllers.
Yeah,
we're talking about
the PlayStation. The full-size arcade
game room,
games.
arcade games, full-size arcade games.
Yeah, and the jukebox.
Jukebox, yeah.
We had a lot of fun there.
Yeah, it was great.
We did.
I tell you what, now that I don't have it, I miss it.
Yeah.
But anyway, the last bunch of years I raced, I got paid to race. My sponsors paid for everything I had to do there.
Right.
I mean, the rent there was $58,000 a year. I mean, just for that shop, and I actually walked away with money at the end of the year. I mean, pit expenses, fuel, food, everything was bought and paid for, whatever it needed to be, and I walked away with money, which is ultimately the way you continue to race.
Right.
And of course, in order to race well. I mean, we used to go down with a truck full and pick up a truck full of tires at the beginning of the year. We got the pick of the litter, and we'd go through the tires and pick every one that we needed. We'd had, whatever it was, 50, 60 tires. So we had brand new tires whenever we needed them.
And you didn't use your tires more than a couple of events?
Well, we had a tire program, and the tire program went from, being the feature to the heats to the warm-ups to the, and they circled around. So once they were done, they still had some mileage on them, but they weren't, keeping us into the low numbers, as far as times go. So, we had that, we kept to that tire program.
Yeah.
So, we gave tires to you and to other people, and they still ran good with them. I mean, for figure eights, it was great.
It was perfect, especially
because they were broken in.
They were broken in.
They were all set to go.
And with the figure eight, for those who don't understand or ever seen a figure eight, you do 20 laps, and you make the left 20 times and the right 20 times. And, it's tires worked. I got like 2 weeks out of them.
Yeah, they were good.
They were good.
They were good.
Oh, yeah. But, when you talk about sponsors, and I raised that off of sponsors, I wasn't a top runner, so I was able to market my race car for my sponsors, and we had programs to kind of show a return on the sponsorship dollar, and that's why they keep coming back. I had Inline Chiropractic, which became DAC Medical.
Dr. Mike,
for years and years, because on his sheet, how did you hear about us? And if they put the racetrack, Joe's Race Car, or whatever.
And it worked.
He saw a return on that. And my deal with him, with Dr. Mike, who has passed away, my deal with him was 2% of what my people, what he made off of my people going, who saw from the racetrack or worked to me, whatever, to racing. And he gave me a nice check. It was a gamble. I'm going to tell you right now, it was a gamble. He saw no return on his money. I gave him the back panel, which is worth a lot of money.
I remember.
Right? And
that's
a
a good
big
panel.
Dr. Mike thing with that.
Inline Chiropractic with the little logo thing he had.
Yeah.
I remember.
And the first season, he says, all right, you're going to get like, $20. So we go out to dinner at the end of the season. He gives me $6,000. $6,000. And the people who were already going, they stayed on. It wasn't like, all right, their year is up. No, they stayed, and it grew and grew and grew and grew. And then I had the Big Brothers program. Nope, you guys got.
Well, Bonnie and I both went to Inline Chiropractic.
Yes.
Because of your car.
See?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And
I would go every week, a couple of times.
Yeah. And what's funny is you did feel better. Oh, your mom, too.
And my mom.
Yeah.
Right. True.
I had a woman at work that she brought her dog there. She brought a dog there. The dog jumped off the couch and was kind of listless. And Dr. Mike goes, I can do this.
Tweaked them up.
The dog jumped off the
table
and walked out fine. He was good. He went too soon. He left us too soon.
Yeah, he did.
He did.
That's a shame.
And that was Dr. Chiappetta, who took over. And he took over. He bought the practice and is doing as well as too. And he was involved with sponsor. Not only did he sponsor, my car, but he sponsored a rookie point fund to help the rookies, get some money. And then.
So on a local level, that's great. When you have a guy who's small enough where you can work a deal like that, where they're going to give you a percentage based on what you're doing, that's great.
Right.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
When you start getting to the bigger sponsors, I had small guys. I had guys that would give us the food and that type of stuff. Mm-hmm. Most of the time, by the end, I had so many spots that were sold that I didn't have enough spots.
Right.
So a lot of people think, well, I'm going to give them the spot on the grandstand side, like on the quarter panel or something. Nobody sees that. The car's close to the wall. So unless you're spinning in the infield, nobody really sees it. That's not the big spot.
No.
Even the hood's not the big spot. The big spot is the back of the car because everybody sees that when you're going away.
Yep.
They see that when you're going away and going around the turn. That's the spot.
Right. And the
back of the car
are on the infield.
Right. Or the driver's side quarter panel.
Yep.
Driver's side quarter, and I even used to use the front fender, but I used to use it big in front of the number.
Right.
You know what I mean? So like I had BAB there, I had WRCN there.
Local radio stations.
I had, and they were all big numbers. When I tell you, I was getting, $10,000 and $20,000 from some of these people.
Yep.
You know, and that's the kind of numbers you want to get. Now, ultimately, why would that work out? Well, I can show them the exposure rate on this advertising. Because when you boil it down to any kind of advertising, okay, you got to think as a business. You can't think as a race car driver. Race car drivers want to get the tires. I need a set of tires. Set of tires is this much. If they give me this much money, I could buy 4 sets of tires. That's not the way race car drivers need to think. They need to think as a business. You need to think as the person who's giving you the money. What are they getting? And that's what you need to tell them. They don't care how many tires you're going to get or how many races you're going to win. Honestly, they don't even care if you win races.
Right.
It doesn't matter to them.
I never won a race, and I had good sponsorship.
I won one race. You know, one feature race, a handful of...
the one you missed by that much.
No, I won that one.
Oh, that's the one you won.
I won that one. But I mean, I won a bunch of heat races, but they don't care about that. They don't care about the picture with the flag hanging on their wall. That's not what they care about. When you tell them that you're going to a racetrack, and let's say it's your local racetrack, at best, on the best day, let's say you get 3,000 people at that racetrack. Right. 3,000 people at that racetrack, if you gave you $3,000, that's $1 a person. Now, I got to tell you that even though the Super Bowl charges, you know, $3.5 million for one of their ads, they can still show you that they're paying somewhere between 5 cents and 7 cents per impression. Right. All right, that's typically the going rate. 5 cents and 7 cents per impression. That means it's costing them 5 cents to 7 cents based on all the people that are watching, even if they're paying $3.5 million, which is typically the way these things work out. So I can show them, all right, I'm going to the racetrack. Let's say there's 3,000 people. On the best day, there's 3,000 people at my local racetrack. Still not enough people. Right. So now what do you do to bring that exposure rate up? Well, what I used to do was I wanted an enclosed trailer in the worst way, especially when the sun was hot, especially when it was raining, and I wanted to stand inside. Now, I had a shop. I really didn't need it. My shop was big enough that not only did I keep my race cars inside and all my equipment, all my tools, but I kept my trailer and my hauler inside. And I had plenty of room for that.
Yes, you did.
You know, there was no problem with that. But I wanted an enclosed trailer anyway, like anybody does. I mean, any race car driver. But you put your car in an enclosed trailer, unless you're prepared to put your $10,000 or $20,000 sponsor on the side of your trailer, okay, which is not really going to pique people's interest when you're driving down the expressway, okay, then when that sponsor's not with you and you got to peel that off of there and pay to have that vinyl put on, you're better off to have it on an open trailer because you're driving down the expressway. How many cars are going both ways on the expressway when you're driving from Amityville to Riverhead? How many thousands of people are seeing that? Right? So all of these exposure rates are important because ultimately that's what they're getting. Do the radio stations know how many people are tuning in? They could tell you, give me your money, we've got a listenership of 200,000 people. They don't know who's listening. No. It's impossible to come up with an exact number. Right. But for them, the exposure rate is there because it was perfect. Yeah. They have vans that drive up and down the expressway on purpose just so people see them. Yeah. Well, it's the same thing, but now people see a race car and it right away. I mean, how many times you're driving down the expressway, you got somebody driving in your blind spot because they want to look at the car. Yes. I mean, there's not a race car driver out there that doesn't say that their hauler was being ghosted by people on both sides because they wanted to look at the car. Yep. And every time you want to get over it, there's always somebody in your way. It's always. Because they're always looking at the car. Yep. Well, this is a good thing and a bad thing. Well, that's the good thing. Well, the other way to bring this exposure rate up is to do some advertising, do other things, think outside the box. So at Inravio, we're doing that to try to help some of the race teams, and we have a couple of opportunities. So, like, for example, we're doing a shop talk segment. The shop talk segment would be where we'd go to somebody's shop, we'll set up cameras, and we'll talk about, you could talk about bump steer, you could talk about camber and caster, and all small little things. But ultimately, you get to showcase all of your sponsors that are on your car. Now, here at the 5 Off Show, our exposure rate on the Inravio TV network right now is doing very well. We're up around 20,000 viewers on a weekly basis. Right. So now you take the 20,000 and add it on to, let's say, at best, your racetrack, 3,000 people, you got 23,000 people now okay, that are watching. Now, at the 5 Off show, not only, you might say, well, what do I have to advertise my race team for, or my racetrack? Well, ultimately, unless you're going to get more people looking at that car or at that coming to that racetrack some other way, how else are you going to do it?
Right.
I had this conversation with a racetrack. They're like, oh, well, I don't know. We really don't have a lot of money to spend, blah, blah, blah. I said, let me ask you a question. We'll take a person, Dr. Pepper. Dr. Pepper is going to give you money. They're going to be the official soft drink of your racetrack. How many people you get to this racetrack on a weekly basis? 1,000 people, at best, she tells me. Okay. So that be the case, how about bringing that 1,000 people up to 21,000 people? Dr. Pepper's not going to give you the X that they were giving you. Maybe they won't give you the 20X, but maybe they'll give you 10X. So you spend part of that money to advertise on the Inravio TV network to get that extra exposure, and now you're putting more people. Yeah, it's costing you money, absolutely, no doubt. But now you're putting more money into your pocket as well. And as a race team, that more money into your pocket is more tires, better equipment, better everything. And that's the way it works out.
Right.
You know, so you may have to spend X, but you're going to be getting 3 to 5X back from your sponsors because now you can tell them that kind of exposure. Even if you put an ad on the Inravio TV network, Joey Slobotnik's race team, sponsored by come see us at a local track near you.
Right.
You know, be inventive.
Yeah.
You know what? That's extra exposure for you. I mean, that's the smart ways to think about trying to bring up your exposure rate, right? And now you can go to your sponsor and you can say, listen, I can tell you that there's this many people watching.
That's right.
And here on the Inravio TV network, you're targeting racers and people that are into racing. This is shooting fish in a barrel. It's not putting an ad in Newsday where you're lucky if 10% of the people are into racing and 1% of those people might respond. This is shooting fish in a barrel. So that's an opportunity for you. So shoot us a direct message or something if you're interested in doing something. We could talk to you.
Because this is something that could, you know, become a marketing partner with our network and our show. It's going to help not only the race team. It's not only going to help the show. It's going to help their sponsors. And if their sponsors see, wow, this is working, maybe they'll get more involved with that racing.
Absolutely.
And
if it's working, they're gonna.
Yeah.
It's just it's a no-brainer. They're gonna get involved. I mean, look what happened with Dr. Mike with you. You didn't think he was going to give you a $6,000 check.
No.
But when he sees that it's working, how can he not?
Right. Yeah.
How can he not? It's common sense.
Yeah. And it was
really
based on what was billed to his insurance company. And I was like, and you know, there's always network negotiated rates and stuff, but it was what was billed, and right till he didn't have the place anymore. And when the new Dr. Chiappetta took over, he said, no, by the way, I do this. And he goes, well, I'll try it for a year. I don't want to, you know, throw the guy to the wolves. And he had a different deal and a better deal. Not that Dr. Mike's wasn't good because we did well, but Dr. Chiappetta, to this day, myself or my family or close friends go there. It
still pays off. It's lasting. So it's not a one and done. It's a lasting thing.
Oh, without a doubt.
Well, that's it. And you know, one of the things I tried, especially you know, at my local track, was I tried to buy a handful of passes. You know, not free. Right. I said, you know, I know it's $20 a head to get in at the time, whatever it was. I want to buy, you know, give me a ticket, give me a thing, something hard that I can give to my sponsors and have them come down. I don't want them to have to pay to come down, but if I give them free passes, you know, not free to them, not free to me. I would pay the track.
Yep.
You know, they would come down because to get your sponsor to come to the racetrack, it's very difficult.
Yeah.
Very difficult. Even some of the big sponsors, small sponsors, I don't care who they are. I don't think, unless it was BAB with their van or RCN with their van coming down, they did not come to that track.
Right.
They just did not. So, you know, one of the things about this is they can log on wherever they are. They can see their name in lights. And a picture is worth 1,000 words. Video is worth 1,000,000.
Right.
They see their commercial on the Inravio TV network, or they see their segment in your shop talking about your car, but they're on the side of your car, and at the end, they thank you to special, you know, thank yous to the different sponsors. It's worth 1,000,000 words.
Oh, wow.
And 1,000,000 words is worth $1,000,000. That's really what it boils down to.
Yeah. Anyway, we're going to take a break. We come back. We'll have a video for you folks that was taken at the Himes Museum of Racing Nostalgia this past August. That's right. When we come back.
Hey guys, this is Jibs from Ocean's 8, Alaska, and you're watching Inravio TV Network.
Village Music Shop of Mastic. 1-800-HEY-DUDE. Your full-service store with personalized attention, school band instrument rentals and sales, music instruction on all instruments for all styles and age groups, for guitars, drums, amplifiers, PA systems, and accessories. It's Village Music Shop, 1495 Montauk Highway in Mastic. Call 1-800-HEY-DUDE or go to villagemusicshop.com.
Hey, I'm Raul Panther.
And I'm Commander B. Hawkins.
And I'm Mercer Weller. We're some of the proto men. If we see you without this bracelet, you're punching the But if you have this bracelet from Inravio.com, you can win $100.
Put one of these on, or else.
What's up, guys? This is Assuming You Survive, and you're watching Inravio TV Network.
The world of advertising has changed. Radio, TV, and newspaper revenues have declined drastically. Why? Because businesses have realized that advertising return on investment isn't what it used to be. So what can we do about it? Well, that's easy. Advertise online. Own a local restaurant, real estate agency, or even a national retail chain? Whatever your business, Inravio can get your message out there, and we can do it at a fraction of the cost. Call today and see the difference for yourself. This isn't TV. This isn't radio. This is Inravio.com.
Hey, we're back. We are back. So, at the Himes Museum of Racing Nostalgia this past August, at the Marty Himes annual race car driver reunion, and guys that raced even before we were born were all there. You had the opportunity to talk with Marty Himes, and I'll tell you what, the man is a computer of knowledge when it comes to racing. The tracks, the cars, the drivers, the promoters, and here's a little bit of that interview.
Inravio.com.
I'm sitting here with Marty Himes, curator of the Himes Museum of Auto Racing Nostalgia. Marty, first of all, happy birthday, 79 if I'm not mistaken.
79, thank you.
79 years young.
Folks.
Marty, now, the museum, you started this with one item, what, 45 years ago?
44.
44.
You're pretty good.
All right.
44 years ago, I hung a letter on the wall from famous race car driver that only had one leg, Bill Schindler from Freeport, and it's still there.
And it just grew from there.
Look what happened.
Now, Marty, you have 3 lots worth of stuff.
3 lots, 1, 2, 3 trailers like this, and 2 garages, and the house. When I say the house is full, I'm not kidding. If you fell in the house, you couldn't fall down. There's too much stuff.
It's never too much stuff, Marty.
Yeah, I don't know how I did it all, but I've done it.
Well, you know, in some cases, one man's junk was your gold.
That's right. One man's junk, another man's gold, and I happen to be the man looking for the junk. That's Junque.
Junk. Now, Marty, I'm hearing rumors. This is the last one, the last reunion?
Last reunion. Because it's too much work. It's a lot of work setting this all up to do this all for one day. It really is.
A lot of people come from all parts of the country.
There's even an author here. He wrote the Long Ride on a Short Track book. Ken Spooner from Nashville. He fooled me. I talked to him on the phone a couple of days ago, and he didn't tell me. But I opened the door before, and there he was. He's here from Nashville.
Wow. See, that's a tribute. That's a tribute.
Yeah.
Now, Marty, you have sprint cars, you have midget cars, you have stock cars, modifieds.
Everything.
How does this stuff come to you?
Believe it or not, most of the stuff has been donated to me. And I have a policy that I don't care who you are, you couldn't buy any of it, okay? It's just, if it's donated to me, it's not for sale, for no kind of money. Everybody says, yeah. So everything has a price. I said, you talking to the wrong guy. It has no price. It's not for sale.
And that's big, because a lot of people, when times are tough, they go, maybe I could get rid of this, get rid of that. You don't get rid of anything.
I don't sell nothing, and I've had many offers. The American Pickers show on television, they've called me twice already, but they want to buy, and I don't want to sell, and I'm not.
And I'll tell you what, as a former racer and a guy that does a show in racing, I appreciate that, and that's big, because once it disappears, you never know where it goes. Exactly.
And I've seen it happen to other guys who collect, and they're all going to collect and hang on to stuff. Before you know it, they get an offer and they sell, and it's gone. They don't even know who they sold it to. It's gone forever.
Now, out of all the stuff you have, and you have a lot of interesting stuff, what is your prized possession?
Boy, that's a hard one. I mean, I have stuff here from the best in the business, Jim Hendrickson, a great man, great human being, great race car driver, and a great friend. And he's here. His helmets are here, his uniforms are here, his jackets are here, his shirts are here, and his photographs all signed. Can't beat that.
No. And I tell people, all they need to do is say a driver's name that was from Long Island. You'll go like this, you go, and stay there, and you'll come back with something from that guy.
Yeah, I have a good collection of stuff. And we're talking about shoes, hats, gloves, uniforms,
suits.
Anything you can think of is here. They're trophies, you know, it's all here. They love this.
You know, Marty, you got a couple of hundred people out there walking around, sure looking at. I want to thank you, not only for what you did today, but preserving the history of auto racing, for making guys like me even feel important. You know, with a small country. Thank you, and I appreciate that. And I just hope that you live a long and prosperous life forward. But when that day comes that you got to go start collecting stuff in heaven, I hope somebody preserves this and keeps it going.
I'm taking it with me.
Well, then I'm going to be following you, because I love this stuff.
Inravio.com.
That was awesome.
That's great.
We had a good time that day, and every other time we went out there.
Yeah. He's a wealth of information, that guy. He's funny. And we'll have more from Marty next week. Yeah, we'll have more from him.
Yeah,
from the Himes Museum of Auto Racing. But we should tell people about save the date. It's the 24th, February 24th.
The week after the Daytona 500.
The week after the Daytona 500. Save the date. We're not going to tell you what it is. We'll tell you next week. But if you're a race car driver or a race fan, if you're in New York or not in New York, get to New York. The 24th is going to be an important date for you.
You know, and I went and I saw Marty not too long ago, in probably September, October, and was kind of sitting around the kitchen talking about stuff. And one of the things he said to me, he goes, nobody comes. Nobody comes except for that one day. He goes, yeah, this guy will come, this guy will come, this guy will come. He goes, because nobody comes in, and I don't charge admission. He goes, I have a bottle. Throw something in there, 50 cents, $1. Whatever, something.
It's a donation.
And he goes...
And it's not even that. He just likes talking racing.
Yeah, and he said, I haven't even made enough money at the museum. And not that I'm here for the money, and this is a direct quote. He said, but I can't even pay 1 month's electric bill for all it is, for what I brought in all year. And he goes, and 95% of it comes in the day of the reunion. And,
Yeah.
you know, and then he said, you know, people don't even call. People don't even call me. And I got emotional when he was talking about that. And I left and I was talking to his daughter, Gloria, and I said, you know, we got to do something about that. And we're gonna.
We're gonna.
You know, he's been a guest of our show many, many times.
Absolutely. He's been on the show, and we've been there to the museum. I was there years ago before the network, when I was writing an article about racing, and I had gone there, and I spent 2-3 hours there, whatever, talking to him, and he just loves talking racing.
And you need to spend like a couple of days when you go there, because
There's so much to look at. You could go there and go back 5 times, and you'd still see new stuff.
Yeah, and you know, when he said that if you fell down in his house, you wouldn't hit the ground.
You would not.
When I tell you, his front porch, his living room, his kitchen, the bathroom,
everything,
it's all racing.
It's all racing, and you can't. Mike put a way to say it. You can't swing a cat by its tail in that place.
No.
Without hitting something that's racing.
Not
it's
at
just
all.
there's so much of it there.
And even the trailers, when you get in there, as you knew, you know, we could barely fit
the camera.
You, the camera, me, and him.
And 2 people. Yeah, we had to physically move stuff
in
order to set the camera up in order to do the interview.
And I was sitting on a tire. I was sitting on a tire of a sprint car.
Of a car.
Yeah, and he was sitting on a different tire.
Yeah, we'll save the 24th. That's going to be
the 24th.
The 24th. February 24th is going to be an important day, so save that day. You're going to want to be part of this.
You know, and you know, when WJ passed away, he had a lot of racing stuff. A lot of racing stuff. And his daughters went to Marty and donated all of WJ's racing stuff to that museum. And you know, and I have stuff there, and my daughter has stuff there, and you know, my uncles have stuff there from their racing, you know, careers. You know, and like he, you know, said, you give him a name, boom, and he'll come up with the stuff. And it was just nice to see the outpouring of the people that came for his 79th birthday.
Yeah.
And I hope there's an 80th year. I hope somebody is able to talk them into doing it. You know, because it would be a shame. That's something people look forward. They put it on their calendars. Like, they book their flights.
They do.
You know.
Well, book your flights for the 24th.
Yes.
If you're not in New York, get to New York.
It's you know, we want to make him feel good for what he does, because he really feels that he's not appreciated. You know, and we both know that feeling.
We know that.
You know,
we know where he's coming from. He's done a lot. He's done a lot for racing and the racing community.
Yeah, he really has.
Yeah. So yeah, set your write that on the calendar right now. Set your alarm clock for the 24th, February 24th, and we'll give you more details as the weeks progress here. Probably breaking news next week.
You know, and the people that are watching it, they're talking. Yeah, you know, people need to help them out here. So we're gonna try to do that.
That's it.
You know,
we're gonna do it.
If I hit Mega Millions, I'd go buy a building somewhere.
That's exactly what I would do.
And I'm not kidding.
And he needs a big building. He's got a lot of stuff.
Oh, he's got a lot of stuff.
Put it out, yeah.
You know, and it could be displayed properly. I went to a museum up in Stony Brook, and it was, Marty had an area. It was incredible. It was like 3-4 years ago. It was incredible. The stuff that he bought, and the pictures and video, and it was just, when you saw it in that environment, you were like...
It was a different animal.
I mean, he has helmets and race uniforms and jackets.
He's got a lot of stuff.
Everything.
Yeah.
Everything.
Well, I mean, I think we have to go. I think we're actually ran over. These shows go way too quick.
We got that look.
No, we've been getting that look.
Oh, we have?
Oh, yeah.
Wow. All right. So anyway.
So anyway, to sum up, if anybody wants to, increase their exposure for their race team at a racetrack, give us a call.
Give us a call.
PM us, DM us, whatever you want to call it, and that's it. Until next week, we'll break the news on the 24th. Put that on your calendar.
All right. So wherever your endeavors bring you this week, be safe, be careful. Give somebody a hug, tell me you love them. God bless you all, and we'll see you next week. Good night, everybody.